Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for the week of April 13th. You start with this Overcoming Challenges card. It says, a triumph will bring great change. Let yourself be open to victory. You have a spare tree card. It says, don't waste your energy or efforts on something that is clearly not bearing fruit. Pretty sure I said to you, Taurus, in your April bonus reading, and happy birthday, by the way, to April Tauruses out there. But what I would say is, I think that you need to make sure that you're actually getting a result. There's like something about results. I wish I had something better to say than just that, Taurus. But I feel if you really looked at where you're spending your most time, that you could probably either be getting a better result or more of a result. And I think that your readings for April have really been kind of harping on that in some ways. You start in your current general energies with the Fool, the King of Wands, and the Four of Cups. The Fool is like a new beginning, kind of like taking a leap of faith. I mean, none of this really surprises me. We have a ton of energy in Aries. And, this month, and especially this week, when, we're kind of waiting for a few things to happen. And we also have the new moon on the 17th in your sign, which I think is this week. I don't know. I can't do math, so whatever. But what I would say here is that, you have Aries energy in this reading already. And it could be a great week to take that leap of faith or to do something that you're wanting to do or that you're wanting to finish. The other thing is, I'm getting the word preparation that's popping into my head, but it's that's it's kind of like a weird thing, Taurus, that's popping into my head. I feel like you need to, be prepared. It's the things that are if you need to get an oil change or something like that in your cards, this should be the week that you get it done. I know that sounds dumb, but it's almost like a kind of like a cleaning up preparation is what's popping into my head. I don't think this is a bad thing at all. I feel like the universe is saying hey, you're going to be moving and grooving, so I think you need to make sure everything has oil. And, maybe I'm speaking figuratively, maybe you should also, be very closely paying attention to your health, because obviously if you're not being healthy, then you're not going to be able to move very quickly, right? And so I kind of feel like it's saying, check the oil in everything in your life, not literally, although, I think that could help, right? If you need an oil change, maybe it's been 6 years. Maybe you haven't even checked your oil in 6 years. If that's the case, then I would definitely get on it, right? Because, again, I think this is more like a preparation because you're going to need to move. And I think you need to make sure that everything is kind of running smoothly. So that cleanup work would be a good idea. You have the King of Wands, which everybody pretty much has had the King of Wands this week. Doesn't surprise me. We have a ton of fire energy this week. And so I feel that we all are going to be probably being bold, confident, assertive, making things happen, ready to take off type of energy this week. And yeah, it just makes sense. You have the Four Cups. Four Cups can be having been disappointed 3 times before, and now he's being asked to try something again. But he's not, because he's been disappointed 3 times before. But I feel it is definitely time for you to try again, especially if you're working on anything that you haven't finished from the past or that you want to finish. Again, I mean, we have all this energy in Aries, which is your 12th house. And even if it isn't your 12th house, doesn't matter. It's going to affect you all pretty much the same here, Taurus. And so with all that 12th house energy, it's things that are hidden, things that you need to look into. But sometimes I think 12th house energy, that we can be being asked to rebirth something, or, it's kind of like the original dream is sometimes how I look at it, where it's I think as life goes on, we fall into patterns, we start doing things, and we kind of forget about the original reason that we came here, maybe, or the original thing that we've always wanted to do. Kind of weird. I feel like it's good, Taurus, at the same time, but it is almost like you could be thinking about that again, what your original dream, when you were a child or something like that. And now could be the time where you really could make it happen, or you could be giving it another shot. And I just think it would be a good time to think about it. Not even just this week. I think this is, something you'll probably be thinking about for a while. With the Fool, you have the Three of Cups. Yeah, really important that we pay attention who we surround ourselves with. I mean, again, very common message right now, but it makes sense to me based off the astrology, especially at the end of the month when Uranus enters into Gemini. I think we need to make sure we're surrounding ourselves with good people, make sure we're surrounding ourselves with people whose lives we would trade places with, right? And so basically that that maybe that should be the judge a character that you're using, Taurus. Like would it's not saying you are going to trade places with that person, but your friends, your family, the people you spend the most time with. Like, would you trade places with that person? If the answer is yes, then probably a good person to surround yourself with. If it is no, then probably not. With the King of Wands, you have the Hierophant, which is you showing up in a very strong position. Again, I think we all need to embrace that fiery go-getter type of vibe this week, starting this week. Well, we probably should start now. I mean, today is the 7th. This will be published on the 8th. So even if you're watching this before the week of the 13th, I would start now. But, if you're watching it the week of the 13th, then I would also start now if you haven't already. But a lot of you, I feel, are kind of like embracing that go-getter type of vibe here, Taurus, which is very good. I feel that you have the opportunity to accomplish a lot over the coming years, and I would definitely take advantage of it with this card. With the Four of Cups, you have the Ace of Wands, which is great. You have the Ace of Wands twice, right here and right here. Whenever I have a card here and then here, it's like the reading is zooming in on that Ace of Wands energy here and providing us with more detail, which we'll talk about in a second. But the Ace of Wands, out with the old, in with the new. And definitely by the end of the month, when Uranus does go into Gemini, I think it's going to completely change your approach to finances. Part of me feels that Taurus is going to stop settling for less than they deserve. I think Taurus is going to start getting more serious. I even think that Taurus is going to maybe be a little bit more competitive moving forward. But this is good competition, not bad competition. I think you're going to just get serious about results moving forward. You could be feeling this right now, and I feel like like I said, I think go-getter energy is the best energy for you to embrace, where you say, you know what, I'm really gonna put the pedal to the metal and I'm gonna make this happen, like whatever your dream is or whatever you've been trying to do. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this purity card and this pleasure card. Yes, it's a great time for purity, great time for detoxing, making sure you're not surrounding yourself with toxic vibes and all that other good stuff. Also a great time to do more things that you love to do. Of course, we have the Ten of Cups. I've been saying this all year because I think this year, we need to make sure that we're doing something that creates flow. And, I think doing things that make you happy is one of the quickest ways to get into the flow. You have the Ten of Cups here. Pretty simple. Ten of Cups wants us to be overflowing, wants us to be so happy that, we're also making the people around us happy. And so obviously we can't control other people's feelings, but, at the same time, the more that we enjoy life, the more we nurture ourselves, the better, especially for you with Uranus going into your second house. Again, the better you take care of yourself, the better things will be. And plus, because it's Gemini, there are two sides, the twins. It's like you're a mirror reflection of yourself. The better you treat yourself, the better the outside world treats you. The more you nurture the things you care about, the more the things you care about will treat you or nurture you, right? So that's how I would be thinking about it for sure. You have the Ace of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Ten of Cups. Ace of Wands is, again, out with the old, in with the new. I think it's more of an upgrade. I think it's more of a, kind of a enhancement that you're adding to something. So if you're trying a dream, like I said, that you had in the past, the original dream, and you're trying it again, I think you're going to be approaching it from a different perspective or a different angle, which would be good. I also think, of course, embracing creative energy for you right now would be very beneficial. It's really those creative approaches that I think are going to create the breakouts for you. I don't really think this is a breakout or breakthrough reading. I think it's saying Taurus needs to think about how they could break out. It's almost like you need to have breakout moments, and you're all different. So I'm not exactly sure how you're going to create those moments based off of what you do. But it could be like little things. It's like, let's just pretend you work with clients. It's like maybe your average client pays you $1,000. A breakout would be like $10,000, right? So it's like, what do you need to do to get that, $10,000 client, right? But again, that's just an example. This could be about anything in your life. And, I really want to encourage you to try to have those breakouts, is what I want to say. You have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? He's looking at these Seven Pentacles, and, Seven of Pentacles is an investment. He's looking at what he invested to grow those Seven Pentacles, and he's saying, like, is it worth it or not? For some of you, sure, maybe the work you've been doing is worth it. For others, sure, maybe it's not. And the Seven of Pentacles wants you to kind of, like, change it. The other thing I think you need to look at is, like where you're keeping yourself small in a group. I don't even know what the hell that means, Taurus, but it's like some of you, especially if you belong to groups or if you're working with a group, it's like, if that group, let's pretend you have a job where you're like the leader, and maybe those people around you put yourself on a pedestal. It's like, I think there's like a level above that for you, where you could lead a bigger group, but you have to like face the fears and go and do it, right? And so I feel that for some of you, for a lot of you, I think this is talking about expansion for whatever reason. Like, you need to expand your reach in life, or you need to expand your like impact even to be a little bit more dramatic for you, Taurus, right? I think that, doing things like right now, it's almost like you're playing it safe. And again, I don't think this is a bad thing at all. Like, I think this is the universe challenging you to make a bigger impact, right? And there's really nothing wrong with that. So, I would definitely encourage you to start playing big. You have the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups can be like fortune after difficulty, happy home, happy family, blessings. They're focusing on happiness. And so I feel a lot of you like doing more of what causes you to overflow, or doing more of what brings happiness into your life, is going to be very, very beneficial for you, and, will be a good thing. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Temperance card. Temperance is like patience, and, Temperance requires you to be patient as well. I feel like you have been patient enough. I think there's like no more for you to do. And sometimes I feel he needs to get off on this path and go claim his crown, which is definitely what I would do if I were you, Taurus, is like, go claim that crown. With the Seven of Pentacles, sure, we'll take both. You have the World and the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is like disappointment, sadness. Really, it's a very easy card to solve. The Five of Cups, we just have to practice gratitude for what we have, and then, we find something better. But he's kind of like sick and tired of being sick and tired. The whole point of the card is that he's lost his taste for wine, and he doesn't even enjoy it anymore, but he's sad because he feels like he lost something that he once enjoyed. But the trick with the card is just go find something new. It's like, go try whiskey, or go try tequila, right? Something different, So you don't have to be basic anymore, Taurus, drinking box wine out of your fridge, right? It's like maybe you used to, but I think you need to be more fancy now. It's like maybe you need to, instead of doing that, you need to do something else. The World is like an accomplishment or an achievement. And as far as I'm concerned, I feel like this is the breakout thing here with the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is a quick success or a quick conclusion, which I feel is something that you could be creating right now. But I also feel you have to create it. I'm not saying this is going to be easy. It's like, again, obviously, if you have $1,000 clients for the most part, and you've never had a $10,000 client, it's like, that's a big leap, right? And it's not going to happen overnight. But I think that's what the goal should be for Taurus, is like, how can I get that, 10x in my life? With the Ten of Cups, you have the Emperor. Everybody's going to get the Emperor. Everybody has had the Emperor so far this week. So, with all this Aries energy, doesn't surprise me at all. It's like, of course, everybody's going to get this. So the thing about the Emperor is I think we need to be ready for opportunities, and we can't hesitate on those opportunities. He's sitting here on this throne, and he has his armor on underneath his cloak, and it says that he's ready to go at a moment's notice. But it's like he has to, like, when the opportunity, he can't hesitate. He's got to, shave off those seconds, right, when he accepts that opportunity, or he just needs to kind of be saying yes to new opportunities that come his way. And I think that would be very beneficial for you, Taurus. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, another Aries card. It says it's time to take action. You have this South Node. It says don't let your past hold you back. Yes. In some ways, I feel Taurus is living in the past. But like again, this is not a criticism. This is not necessarily a bad thing for you, Taurus. I just feel it's time to break out, time to upgrade, and time to make some changes. So it's like you're not getting any younger here, Taurus, is what these cards are saying to me. It's like if there's things you want, it's like you really shouldn't wait, and I feel you need to make your move. You have the Eight of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the Three of Cups. Eight of Wands is like charging forward towards success, which is great. It represents a quick conclusion or a quick success in your life. The Eight of Wands wants us to focus in one direction, which seems to be very important nowadays. A lot of people get these messages of like picking a point and completing it, which is very Aries energy. Aries has to learn that they have to start something, but they also have to finish it. Aries is good at the first part. They're good at starting things, but they're most astrologers consider them bad at finishing things. I don't think that's always true, right? But for the most part, that's what astrologers say. So with all this Aries energy, even though you are a Taurus, yes, I understand that, we all have to do this. We all have to like pick one thing to focus on, and we have to see it through to the end. I think I think Uranus and Gemini is getting a bad rap right now. Like I hear a lot of astrologers talking about it negatively, but Uranus loves Gemini, so. Like, I don't think it's going to be that bad. Are there going to be stupid things that happen in the world? We're seeing tons of it. We're going to see more. Mark my words. We're going to see a lot of stupid stuff, for sure. But I think on a personal level, if we work with the energy, we'll have a great time with Uranus and Gemini. So, but one of the challenges, I think, is too many ideas, too many things entering into our brain, distracting us, right? We need to pick one thing. I think we need to realize that it doesn't matter. It's like if you have like 30 business ideas, really, it doesn't matter which one you pick. It's like they'll all get you to where you're wanting to go, right? And so you just have to like pick one thing and stick to it. You have the Knight of Wands. Yeah, Knight of Wands is going to come up a lot as well, I think, because of Uranus and Gemini. The opposite is Sagittarius. Of course, when we have these major transits, we should also be paying attention to the opposite sign energy because, that's how we can balance it out. And I think the trick with Uranus and Gemini is we have the idea. And then the second part of that, with the opposite being Sag, is we go on an adventure with the idea. We see where it goes. We see what it's leading to. And I think we need to realize that everything is a dot that will connect in the future. To use the cliche here, Taurus, it's like a lot of people say to me, like, oh, I've tried all these things and none of them worked. I'm like, well, instead of saying that, it's like maybe you should look at that as a dot that's connecting to something else in the future. So it's like, yeah, maybe it didn't work, but maybe it taught you something that will work for you in the future, or it taught you an important lesson. And that's kind of like maybe it is a little annoying, but that's like the time that we're in, is that we have to go on these adventures, because by going on the adventure, you're collecting gold. And, it's like we're all pirates right now. And I think that's what we need to realize. And I think that sounds a little bit more badass anyway, Taurus. But I think we need to be like pirates, where it's like we're going out, we're adventuring on the high seas, right? And we're finding treasure chests all over the place. And it's like maybe they're not going to add up right now, but when we come back home in the future, they will. You have the Three of Cups. Three of Cups, again, it's really important, the people you surround yourself with. I think you need to start leveling up your connections and like making sure the people you are surrounding yourself with are leveling you up. That's what I would do if I were a Taurus, so there you go. With the Eight of Wands, told you have the Five of Wands. I said competition earlier. I was getting that earlier about you being more competitive. I think this is good for you, Taurus. I don't think this is bad at all. I think you're just being more competitive, like in a good way. It's like maybe you're competing with yourself, or you're kind of like pushing yourself a little bit more moving forward, which again, I think this is good. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Death card. Everybody's been getting the Death card recently, in April specifically, so but doesn't really surprise me. Again, Uranus is the last planet we're waiting to change signs. And, we've had all these major planets changing signs. And I've probably said to you before, this is never going to happen again for a long-ass time. We'll be dead the next time this happens. So, I think that really when you have Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus basically changing within pretty much a year, a little bit longer than a year away from each other, although it basically has been a year because it basically was, I should say, because Uranus already has entered into Gemini once and it retrograded out. So whenever this happens, it's like a major change thing, and the Death card is just change. With the Three of Cups, sure, we'll take both. You have the Seven of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. Yeah, you're probably getting clear on like what's worth it. You're probably getting clear on where you get the most juice out of life. And, I feel a lot of you should be doubling down on those things that are actually working. And, that would be very good for you. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Ninth House card. It says Exploration. Yes, you have this Ascendant card. It says Entrance on it. Yeah, the whole entire reading is like encouraging you to be a pirate, to go on some exploration adventure, right? And I think that's what you need to do, plain and simple. You have the Six of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Page of Swords. Six of Pentacles is like planting seeds, equal give and take, but I do feel that Tauruses are going to be balancing out their finances for many freaking years to come. Again, you're going to have Uranus in your second until 2033. In just like 2.5-ish years, you're going to have Saturn entering into your second house as well, which that will also be a big deal. And then also, on top of that, in like 14 years or whatever it is, you're going to have Neptune entering into your second house. So it's like you are, and also all these planets that we have in Aries, like over the coming years, or over the coming year, some of those planets will also be moving in: Mars, Venus, Mercury, months, in the next many months, right? So, again, I think money is a big focus for you, Taurus, and I feel a lot of you could be like balancing out your finances, and, I think it's a good thing overall. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is like straightforward, diligent work. So, again, with second house energy, of course, you're going to be probably focused on work. He needs to look up and not just bury his head in the work, though. It's coming up in the good stuff, but, I always say that tarot is action. It's like tarot, I think the biggest mistake people make when they watch tarot is that they look at it as like a prediction, right? And you might be saying, isn't that what tarot is? No. Tarot is a self-discovery tool, and, I believe that it shows us like the energy we can work with to get something, or to get something out of life, right? And so, personally, like, has it made predictions? Sure. Can it? Sure. But I don't think that's how we should look at it. I think it's good when you don't resonate with a reading, because it's like it's basically saying you're not doing this yet, and this is what you could do to work with it, right? And so I don't think it's necessarily good when we resonate with readings. It's like, people always come to me and they're like, I resonate more with Vedic astrology, and I think we should be looking at all of it. Like, I'm not a fan of one or the other. I think we should use it all, right? But I always say that's not necessarily good that you're resonating with it, because it's just basically the universe is like, this is your life right now. I'm telling you what you are dealing with right now. Like, who the hell cares? You're already living with it. You should be trying to get something more, right? And so, again, it's a good card, but sometimes I feel with this card, we need to step back. He needs to see the work that he has done. We were talking about connecting the dots, right? And it's like, you can't connect the dots if you're just buried in your work. So, it's good coming up in the good stuff, but I still feel that. You have the Page of Swords. Page of Swords, card of curiosity, needing to look at things and, needing to be curious. We're in a time of curiosity, so sure. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Cups. I think this reading, as usual, is all about you. There is a little bit of love here, though. So if you do want love, could be a Knight in Shining Armor coming in for you for sure. Yeah, here you go. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Four of Wands. But, sure, could be marriage if you're meeting a person. But Four of Wands is also just a general commitment. So a lot of you could be committing to, again, this vision that we were talking about. The original dream is what I felt like calling it. And so you could be committing to it. Also, a card of freedom. Uranus in Taurus has been teaching you freedom for years, and now that it's leaving, finally, which is probably going to feel like a little bit of a blessing for you, I think you are going to be like setting yourself free. With the Page of Swords, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles, opportunity, we said this with that Emperor. Again, I think you should not sleep on some sort of opportunity that's coming your way this week, because it could be very beneficial. So, I would like jump on it. But money also looks amazing here, Taurus. So whatever you're doing to like improve your finances, or whatever you're thinking about doing, looks amazing. You have this torch card. It says spiritual development, enlightenment, and awareness and understanding. So yeah, I mean, it is a good time for that for you. You have this bowl. It says plenty of material things. Again, Uranus in your second house is considered to be pretty challenging. It can make money and material things like a little bit unpredictable. But again, I think you're going to be fine because Uranus loves Gemini. So I don't think it's going to be bad at all. You know, if nothing else, you're going to have a lot of financial freedom. You have this September card, and you have this elephant. It says a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. So you could be going on a long journey between now and September, and that would probably be a good thing. You have this April card and this flowers. It says happiness on it. Yes, we were talking about you doing more of the things that make you happy. That will be the thing that brings you the biggest blessings, I believe, Taurus. So yes. And finally, you have this hard work card. Yeah, I think hard work is fine for you as long as you're getting a different result. Again, I don't know. I feel like I've said this to you a bunch of times, Taurus, and but I really feel this for Taurus the most. It's like Taurus needs to look at the numbers. You know, it's like if I had a YouTube channel, let's pretend that's all I know. Sorry, that's the only example I can give you. It's all I do all day is YouTube. It's like if I had a channel and for the past 6 years I was only ever getting 3,000 views on a video, I would look at that and I would say, okay, I need to do something different to make that 30,000, right? I feel like that's what you need to do. And I'm not saying it's work or business related either. It could be anything. It's like maybe you always end up with a bozo who leaves you after 6 months, right? Maybe that's your history in love and you want to change your love life. It's like, what is it? Why? What is the thing that you're picking in those people that makes it happen, right? It's like if every single time you go to the strip club, you're meeting a man there and he always leaves you after 6 months. It's like, well, okay, maybe it's time to meet someone not at a strip club, right? So I don't know what you kids do nowadays. I don't know. It's like a freaking war zone out there with the dating right now. So, you know, maybe it's time to pick something different. Same thing with everything else, right? So whatever. Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with me today. Really appreciate it. Make sure to like, leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.